One second. So hello, I'm Pradyuman and I'm going to present you my project file, which is titled GDP, Gross Domestic Product, Meaning, Significance and Current Scenario. So आज कहानी सुनाएंगे सकल घरेलू उत्पादन की. I'm not a marksman, but I would try best of my capacity to narrate you the story of GDP in the best possible way. Starting with the front matter, you must have noticed the widely highlighted term gross domestic product after every quarter on the news headlines. So there are a lot of assumptions, analysis, and comparative studies that what the GDP was, what is it, and how it is going to be. So what emerges as an important question is what is GDP, what is its subject matter, and why it actually matters. So to start for instance, if someone allots me a task of assessing the total value of an economy, then what would I start with? The first thing I would do would be to identify the size of the territory, and then I would find for ways to measure the national income of that territory. So at times it was very pretty easy task when monarchs used to rule, because what you needed was just to look at the treasury, and the treasury itself was the testimony of the prosperity of the state. But by the time what has happened is that economic activities have become complex, and now there is no treasury to look at, but there is money which is being constantly created and expended. Goods are being produced and sold, cash is being earned and invested, government is spending money in public work, earnings from export, etc. All these have entailed for existence of an indicator like GDP, an indicator which indicates and gives idea towards the health of the financial state. So to put it in simple terms, GDP is the sum total of value of all goods and services which take place in an economy over a time span of 1 year. As it sounds in obvious manner that अगर इसको पूरा total करेंगे तो ये बहुत बड़ा एक figure हो जाएगा, and it is complex, yeah. And so there is a formula to calculate the figure of GDP, which is consumption of goods and services by the residents of the territory, then investment done by individual firms and big companies, then government expenditure on public health, public work, and infrastructure, plus money is earned from exports, and minus money spent on imports. तो ये बड़ा कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्मूला है, इतना आसान नहीं है, और कॉम्प्लेक्स है अभी क्योंकि इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज़ कॉम्प्लेक्स हो चुकी है. सो एक इंडिकेटर, एक ऐसा इंडिकेटर होना जीडीपी जैसा जो एक आइडिया दे, एक इंडिकेशन दे कि क्या हेल्थ है फाइनेंशियल स्टेट की, ये एक बहुत ज़रूरी हो चुका है. एंड द पॉइंट टू बी नोटिस दैट आइडिया एंड इंडिकेशन never mean the situation which sorry if I'm stammering because I'm not at the best of my health. So idea and indication never mean the perfect analysis of the circles of the economic values. Then how according to the estimate would be find the order of the economy poses a prime question. And to answer this question, there comes a term GDP growth rate, which is the rate of expansion of GDP of a territory. When you would reckon the 2019 annual GDP growth rate, it was 5%, and estimates of annual median GDP growth rate for the year 2020-21 by FICCI, which is minus 4.5%. So what you would conclude is very adver- is that we are going at a much slower pace. So अब हमारे पास दो पेसेस हैं जीडीपी ग्रोथ मूवमेंट को ट्रैक करने के लिए. पहला है एक्सपोनेंशियल शूटअप, मीन्स जब एक ग्राफ काफ़ी तेज़ी से ऊपर की तरफ बढ़ता है, जैसा कि अभी कोरोना वाला बढ़ रहा है, एंड नोबडी इज बॉदरिंग अबाउट विच इज टॉकिंग. If a country improves quarter by quarter, it means that the demand for goods is going up, and when the demand for goods is going up, consumers are willing to spend, then consumers are earning, and employment rates are pretty fair. And overall, what it means is that prosperity is closer home. And the second case is downward sloping, which is vice versa of the former. And what provokes countries to run after higher growth rate is that investment, tracking the investment of individual firms and big companies, and it plays a much significant role in determining for companies to determine their production centers. And now coming up to the an interesting story about the history of GDP, how it evolved, what were modifications in its manufacturing process. So the story starts from 1929, the Great Depression, when the world was going through a toughest phase. It was time when Americans were becoming unemployed, unhealthy, and unsheltered. And the biggest catch of that situation was that U.S. government did had any data of its own economy. Then the U.S. Senator Robert La Follette Jr. advised the U.S. government to estimate the national income of U.S. for the years 1929, 1930, and 1931. And this task was handled to Simon Kuznets, who was a 1971 Nobel Prize winner in economic sciences, and this became the starting point for what we call today gross domestic product. And these are these are Robert La Follette Jr. and Simon Kuznets. So when Kuznets instigated, he made list of different sectors prevailing in the U.S. economy, like agriculture, mining, factories, and then he went on a road trip with a small team of three senior assistants and five statistical clerks to make a ground report and compile all the informations and interviewed answers from the farmers, mine owners, and factory owners, and all this was compiled in a notebook and then sent to Department of Commerce, Washington DC. सो कुजनेट्स का प्लान ये था कि जितनी भी इकोनॉमिक आर्थिक गतिविधियां चल रही है यूएस के अंदर उसको कंपाइल किया जाए और उसको रिप्रेजेंट किया जाए एक नंबर के अंदर. And then further this polemic was forwarded to a next level, that what should be added to GDP and what should be left. And finally, in the famous Bretton Woods Conference of July 1944, the framework of GDP was given shape, and it was stated that GDP would be used as a main tool for measuring a country's economy. और तब से जीडीपी एक ग्लोबल स्टैंडर्ड बन गया. एज अ मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट इसे एक ऐसी कॉन्फ्रेंस के अंदर शेप दी गई थी जिसे 44 अलाइड और एसोसिएट नेशंस ने अटेंड किया था, और इंडिया की प्रेजेंस भी वहाँ थी. ऑल्दो इट वाज अ ब्रिटिश कॉलोनी एट द टाइम, इंडिया के देन आरबीआई गवर्नर सीडी देशमुख ने अपनी प्रेजेंस दाखिल की थी ब्रेटन वुड्स कॉन्फ्रेंस में. And now, letting a step forward in the story, we would consider the scenario of last 10 years, the period of the last decade, which has been a period of experiments in the field of economics. The country has witnessed many valleys and peaks. And first, because there was a global boom, the growth was quite soothing, and the global economy was doing very well. And all this find their place into India, and it gave a boost to the Indian economy. Lots of investment projects were set up, jobs were created, and country was going well till 2008. And then came the Great Recession, which was which arise from the common factor, United States of America, and widespread it had a widespread impact all over the world. There was a great slump down in the economic growth all over the globe. Financial markets, real estates, banking sectors completely plunged into vain. Lakhs and crores of people lost their life savings, jobs, shelters, और भारत भी से कोई ज़्यादा अछूता नहीं था. Growth slumped down to a drastically down figures. The then यूपीए गवर्नमेंट took various policy measures to revive the economy. एक मिनी बजट को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे एक्सपेंडिंग को बढ़ाया गया, टैक्स रेट्स को कम किया गया, और एक प्रीलिमिनरी पीरियड के लिए काफ़ी काउंटर रिस्पॉन्स दिखा इसके अंदर. 2 साल के अंदर इकोनॉमी ने रिकवर करना चालू किया, लेकिन वो जो प्लान्स थे उनको एक छोटे पीरियड के लिए, एक शॉर्टर पीरियड के लिए इंट्रोड्यूस किया जाना चाहिए था, लेकिन उनके प्रोलॉन्ग इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ने हैम्पर कर दिया इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ को. And soon they came to the Spectrum scam, CWG scam, and a long list which made the matters worse. And lastly, the oil shock of 2013 when oil prices were rose. And it was the complete scenario till 2014, and then there was a political change, a massive political change. And as you can notice in the graph, there was a quite fine recovery. We were at double digit, and then came the Great Recession, then the oil shock. And starting years of the NDA government, we were doing quite well. We were at 8.1%. But the initial steps of the NDA government made the situation quite worse. The moral of the story till now is that there is no foolproof plan to constantly elevate GDP growth rate. What is good from one part of the adversity in the another. So GDP is subject to constant experiments and policy. And before advancing to the current scenario, I would take two criticisms given against GDP, considering it an inadequate factor. Some people oppose it, saying that GDP does not take in account factors like population, distribution of resources, and participation of people in economic activities. And what they mean basically is that when GDP tend to rise, there is no assurance that living standard of people would rise. Maybe certain specific companies or firms would be growing, and the majority would be behind. And another criticism is that GDP doesn't take into account unpaid labor and work. For example, when a woman is working in household, it is not taken into account in GDP. एंड देन देर आर मैं इसके ऊपर बहुत सारा कंट्रोवर्सी है, बहुत डिस्कशन है, लेकिन कोई फाइनल कंक्लूजन नहीं है, कोई निष्कर्ष नहीं निकलता. इन माय ओपिनियन, टिल नाउ, till we don't discover any other adequate indicator, GDP is most reliable and is best for use for now, and its existence matters a lot. And here I end the story of GDP of early times. Now, considering the recent shakes after 2014, there was a massive political change. There was a scenario of hope and change. People were imbibed with the spirit of ambitions, change, and hopes. There were some initial steps which were very good for GDP growth rate, but then some policy changes like demonetization and GST made the business process more difficult, and the story repeated itself in an even worse manner. Many problems were there for which steps were not taken in an efficient way, like banking sector, and these facts are testimony of the failure and the drastic policies of the India government. 99.3% means 15.31 lakh crore rupees of demonetization notes returned to banks. Note ban caused 2.2% fall in GDP. US study July 27. It is mentioned in the earlier graph. Uh, uh, then country suffered a loss of 1.28 lakh crore rupees in the first 50 days of demonetization. This is the first 50-day hit. And then 1.5 million jobs were lost in January to April 2017. Though this report didn't have any casual relationship with demonetization, but it states that after demonetization, there was a labor force decline from 406.5 million to 405 million jobs. And then 5 million jobs were lost in between September to December 2016. And then demonetization, which was an unplanned disaster. No ATMs were made ready for the new notes. There was no estimation that how much people are using online transaction. Less than 13% people were using were having smartphones with them, and how many were using online transaction, there is no data. And consumption expenditure was 17 quarters low. And there is no tweet from the last 2 years from any government official about the aftermath of demonetization. Another big failure is goods and services tax. In the first year, GDP never reached heights and else fell down. It was assumed that the GST revenue collection of states would rise to 14%, but instead of that, GST revenue fell 41% in first quarter. And then the highest revenue collection was only 10%. And now the center has to release 36,400 crore to compensate the GST collection. And now the GST Council is saying that it may have to take loan to compensate the GST revenue. Even CAG, सरकार की खुद की संस्था कह रही है CAG, GST has failed to live up to its full potential. Central GST collection fell 87% in April amid lockdown. And it has also come in reports that GST Council may borrow money to compensate states. मतलब कर्जा उतारने के लिए भी कर्जा लेना पड़ेगा. सी एक पूरा स्टेयर केस बना दिया है जीडीपी का. And now both the charts have depicted how drastically down the figures are of GDP from 7.2% to 5%. And then came a hard hit of novel coronavirus, which exploited the whole scenario. जो इकोनॉमी लटक रही थी वो फिर सीधा नीचे गिर गई. एंड भी हमें पहले से पता था कि देर आर ड्रास्टिकली बैड पॉलिसी मेजर्स टेकन. नोट बैन हुआ, फिर जीएसटी आया, उसके बाद में इतने सारे पॉलिसी चेंजेस हुए. 54 policy changes were taken in first 42 days of note ban. And then what we have done is a brutal lockdown. Expert advise that India should be treated as mini Europe. What we done is India को हमने एक स्टेट की तरह ट्रीट किया, either everything open or everything closed. हमने फेडरल स्पिरिट को फॉलो नहीं किया, स्टेट्स को कोई अथॉरिटी नहीं दी गई. एंड द रिजल्ट इज a blessing of minus 23.9% GDP growth rate, the worst among G20 countries. यूके के बारे में बहुत बात हुआ था, लेकिन यूके भी हमसे थोड़ा स्लाइटली बेटर कर गया. पीएम्स कोविड टास्क फोर्स is saying that lockdowns have failed. See, ये जो जीडीपी का ग्रोथ रेट है, हाउ ब्यूटीफुल इट इज डंपिंग डाउन. ओनली गॉड कैन मेक such a beautiful staircase. That is why it is referred as act of God. Industry is minus 38.1%, services minus 20.6%, manufacturing minus 39.3%, ओनली एग्रीकल्चर बस एक इसी की जो है कल्पना की गई थी कि 3.4% पॉजिटिव में रहेगा. एंड देन ट्रेड्स एंड होटल्स माइनस 47%. अदर देन एग्रीकल्चर देयर इज नो सेक्टर विच हैज नॉट विटनेस्ड नेगेटिव ग्रोथ. कोरोना से पहले 4.2% था हमारा जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट विच वॉज 11 ईयर लो. हमें पता था कि हम पहले से लटक रहे हैं. एंड देन द इल गवर्नेंस मेड अ वेरी अर्नेस्ट fall down in the economic growth. Debt to GDP ratio, which is advised by World Bank that it should not rise beyond 77%. It has rose to 72.2%, means 146 lakh crore rupees, which is rock bottom. And according to World Bank, if this ratio exceeds 77%, then every 1% additional count in debt would lead to 1.2% fall in the economy. For for 2020-21 it is estimated to be 87.6%. और ऐसे केसेस के अंदर देश अक्सर डिफॉल्टर घोषित हो जाते हैं. Chief Economic Advisor K.V. Subramaniam didn't tell us about estimated aftermath of one next 6 months. Within 24 hours, there was note tweet by Finance Minister, Common Minister, and on tax collection front, we are 6 years low. In July to September 2019, in just 3 years, GST collection dipped 19-month low at 91,916 crores, reflecting a severely weak demand. Earlier, it was stated by NSSO, जिसे अब खत्म कर दिया गया, that unemployment is 45-year high. Unemployment rate doubled in 2 years. 2 सालों में डबल कर लिया हमने इसे. The rates have gone up from 4.4% to 7.6% in May 2017 to April 2019. It is worse among graduates, rising to 13.17% in September to December 2018. The youth, which comprises of 40% of our labor force, still has an unemployment rate of 32%. See this graph. This is for urban male, and then the lower one is for urban female. If you concentrate on this graph, then we will discover a classic sense of deflation in rural economy. The farmer income, हाँ वही जिसका बोला था कि 2020 तक डबल कर देंगे, it slumped down to 14 years low in October to December 2018, and upon it India lost 11 million jobs in 2018, rural areas being the worst hit. And then RBI revised GDP growth rate prediction multiple times, and we fell 2% from 7.2% to 5%, which I have shown in the earlier graph. Index of industrial production has recorded minus 4.3% growth in October to 2019, lowest since 2012. Well, and then consumer confidence बहुत important है. जब आपको और मुझे कोई गारंटी नहीं है कि हमारा पैसा वापस आएगा, तो क्यों कोई ईएमआई भरेगा, क्यों कोई लोन उठाएगा, क्यों कोई पैसा खर्च करेगा. It has seen a fell of 8-year low rate. See, it has gone down during the oil shock, and now it is, I think, it is going to touch 85. Business sentiment कि मैं लोन लूंगा, मैं फैक्ट्री लगाऊंगा, मैं प्रोडक्शन करूंगा. It has seen the deepest. So this business sentiment dipped to lowest level since 2008. एंड नाउ नो इन्वेस्टमेंट. आप चाहे कितना भी मेक इन इंडिया, टेक इन इंडिया, स्किल इंडिया, स्टार्टअप इंडिया कर लो, कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं है. वो जो अर्जो पुरजो वाला मेक इन इंडिया का शेयर बनाया था, वो कहाँ है? कोई बात नहीं कर रहा है. उसको चेंज करके सीधा एजेंडा को अब आत्मनिर्भर भारत बना दिया. थोड़े दिनों बाद इस पर कोई बात नहीं होगी. This would spread no matter how much you boast of Skill India, Startup India, Make in India, there is no investment. और एनपीए बेट डेट इज सपोज टू राइज 20 ट्रिलियन. जब लॉकडाउन खुलेगा, मॉरेटोरियम हटेगा और बैंक्स अपना पैसा वापस मांगेंगे, तो ईएमआई देने वाला कोई नहीं होगा. हमारा बेट डेट, नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट बेट डेट 20 ट्रिलियन तक राइज हो सकता है. सो इट इज क्लियर that the adventurism and misplacement of priorities of government's policies have messed up the Indian economy. एंड द रैंकिंग ऑफ ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस, जिस पर लोगों ने बहुत बोला था कि वर्ल्ड बैंक ने रैंक किया है, वो इंडेक्स ही बंद कर दिया वर्ल्ड बैंक ने, बिकॉज इट वॉज मोर और लेस अ डिस्टॉर्शन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन. एंड मैनी बिग बिजनेसमैन, छोटा और बड़ा बिजनेसमैन, हर कोई सफ़र करता है टैक्स टेररिज्म. लोग कहते हैं हर दिन वो ईडी और सीबीआई वाले आके मुंह खोल के बैठ जाते हैं, आ दो दो भैया पैसा दो या जेल चलो. सो मैनी बिग बिजनेसमैन हैव ऑल्सो डिमांडेड एन एंड टू टैक्स टेररिज्म. The religious atmosphere, the social unrest, the tension, the social atmosphere. Everybody around the world is reading about it, and that's why no one wants to invest in India. So the moral of story is that the situation is much lamentable, and the one responsible for it are fizzling out of it. And what happened for the last 6 years is that the government has deceived the people, and until you don't take out the strap from your eyes and question the government, the situation is not going to improve. We are not asking any fundamental questions. Why is no one asking that why our domestic production can't beat that of China? रोजाना उसके ऊपर बात होता है, but no one asks this. And then, sorry, until you would stop listening to kerfuffle of sycophantic media houses, the baloney of politicians, nothing is going to happen. I'm sorry if I would apologize if I would have hurt anyone's statement, but what I said is undeniable facts. So whether it matters for you a lot, what matters for you or not, it really gets my God. Thank you to everyone for listening me in such a tranquil manner.